Voy a volver a ver a mi niña muy pronto, entonces no estoy nada agobiado, estoy muy tranquilo, por favor. Si me dejáis paso.
¿Necesitas alguna tranquilidad? ¿Por qué estáis aquí? Cuéntanos.
Es por la custodia de tu hija, Ilia.
Por favor, tenemos que pasar.
Espera, Ilia.
Pero por favor.
Nieto, tú estás como un descanso, ¿cómo estás tú también, personalmente?
¿Cómo te encuentras
¿Cómo te encuentras, Ilia?
Cuando salga, tal vez.
¿Cuál es tu prioridad ahora mismo, Ilia?
Mi prioridad es mi hija, mis hijos, mi familia, esa es mi prioridad.
There's like a divorce.
Oh yeah. Well, she's taking photos with rappers and shit, putting it on Instagram.
No.
Yeah. They try to put a fucking knife right in your spirit. This is the mother of your children, and this lady is a monster. There's a lot of ladies like that because you hooked up with a guy who's an incredibly special human being. You not just a UFC world champion, but a 2-division world champion superstar who the whole world wants to see, and you're his wife. So you're like, oh, look at me. And then he doesn't want to be with you anymore. Well, I'm gonna take you down. Reputation destruction. That's what they really are experts.
Ilia Topuria has finally broken his silence. While he hasn't revealed every detail, what he has said has sent shockwaves through the UFC. After weeks of rumors, speculation, and non-stop talk surrounding his divorce drama, Ilia has made one thing clear: this chapter is not the end of his career. It's just a pause, and that pause might be making him more dangerous than ever.
Yeah, I met my wife in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, she was living there.
Damn. Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
But you can find your wife in any place in the world.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
Alright, let's go.
Put it on Only in Date is hilarious.
Everywhere. Why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you saying that?
Everyone says that.
Because you go to the party and this is the only place
Yeah.
you see. Like you don't know the another part of Miami of people that just they want.
They're normal.
Yeah.
Best place to work out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run the water.
And let the division crack on.
Interim's a genuine title. The people who say it's not a genuine title have never won a title in life.
Yeah, people keep saying, oh, you're probably going to end up like Tom when you win it, it'll get upgraded. And
Why would that happen though?
because people are saying Ilia's not going to be back for at least a year. I don't know, lad. I want to show everyone that I can beat him, but at the same time, if I have me waiting, like Tom was waiting for John, then no. Just vacate, lad, and let the division crack on.
I think it should be Paddy and Ilia. I think that's the biggest fight now.
My belief through the headlines is that Ilia was walking away from the UFC championship belt, thus elevating Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett to undisputed title. Now, once I dug into this, I can't quite recall why I thought it in the first place. I mean, once I dug into it, there was nothing in the article that said that Paddy and Justin was going to be undisputed, or that the UFC was accepting, or that Ilia was surrendering a belt back. And I was talking with Daniel Cormier. Daniel's always got the inside scoop. It's like, hey, Daniel, you just got back from calling this event. What is going on there? Is Justin and Paddy moved up? And Daniel said no. He said that essentially in all of these articles and all of these news waves that have now just come out on Ilia Topuria, it's repackaging what we already knew. It was Ilia coming in front of this thing and saying, hey, I'm dealing with some big stresses in my personal life, and one of the great concerns that I have is that there's going to be a claim made against me for domestic violence, and I'm sitting here and I'm just waiting for this shoe to drop. And until it does, and until I can deal with that, try to work my own personal things back into order, I won't be competing. Now, I think a lot of you are going to hear what I just said and go, hey, Chael, you're 2 weeks late on the story. No, that is the story. The story is that this made headlines for something that we were already told a couple of weeks ago, and there is no escalation from that, meaning Ilia Topuria is not vanquishing or having stripped from him.
Topuria hasn't gone into the messy details publicly. No long statements, no online back and forth, but that silence speaks volumes. Fighters rarely step away at the peak of their momentum unless something serious is happening behind the scenes. In Ilia's case, it's clear his focus has shifted toward his family and handling real-life issues before returning to the octagon. But here's where things get interesting. Despite the chaos, Ilia has made it clear that he fully intends to come back once this is handled.
Under your skin. Does anybody get under your skin? Somebody that knows to say something that triggers. I see your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife. She's the only person.
I'm not going to say I have a ton of confidence in this, but if it comes true, it'd be a cool prediction to have, and that is Ilia comes back. But the bolder prediction is he loses. He comes back too soon, still dealing with all this bullshit, and ends up losing because he's not in the right headspace. But I think Ilia's a smart guy. That's why I'm, kind of on the fence about this prediction a little bit, right? I'm not saying like, I really believe his prediction or anything. But man, fighters don't like not fighting. They don't like sitting on the sidelines. I can speak from my own experience. Every time I got injured and someone wants to watch a UFC card, it's hard to watch. You can't sit there and watch it. You want to be the guy in there. You want to be the one that people are watching. And I think he's going to have that. He's healthy. He's not, it's obviously he's dealing with some pretty heavy shit, but he's healthy. He wants to come back and compete and fight. And I think he'll end up breaking to that, and he'll end up coming back. But it's not going to be a good time, and he's going to be dealing with shit. And, that's kind of too bold.
Train MMA. All I do boxing classes, wrestling classes. Because when the training camp comes, I try to mix it up and polish everything that I have been able to learn. Everything that worked for me in wrestling and boxing. I want to develop all the time my knowledge. I want to get better all the time. And I can get better if I only go and train MMA. I need to learn new techniques like in BJJ. You never end up learning. One thing is what you know, and the other is what you do with what you know.
Who do you think should be next for Ilia?
Who should be next for Ilia? 55 has always been so cloudy at the top. Maybe Gaethje. I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch. Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilia in person, but he seems smaller. I know obviously he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilia can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
Something happened with you and Patty, or
yeah,
something happened with you guys, right? Yeah. What was that all about? I saw the video.
He said some stupid shit about Georgia, about my country. He said something like, "Now I understand why Russia is throwing bombs to Georgia." And like, bro, you never live in a situation where your country had a war. I lived there in 2008. Don't joke with that. He said that on Twitter.
And then you went and you guys were at the same event and you ran into each other?
I saw him and I went after him like boom.
And it wasn't promotion.
And when he does return, he expects to pick up exactly where he left off. No rebuilding phase, no warm-up fights, straight back into the fire. And that's where the UFC title picture gets messy. While Ilia steps away, the division hasn't slowed down. His absence forced the UFC to reshuffle its plans, opening the door for an interim title fight, with Paddy Pimblett now positioned to face Justin Gaethje.
Versus Paddy is one of the truest grudges that we have in our sport right now. Some of you might not have known about it, and the rest of you might have forgot about it. Was that B-roll and footage exists every bit as much as Masvidal and Leon exist, Ilia and Paddy exist. But how do we get there? One thing that Paddy said about his career, he said, fight Gaethje and then I'll go deal with Charles. But he had a different idea if Ilia won. If Ilia wins and that's the big grudge match, move Gaethje out of the side, he's ready for the title right now.
Paddy Pimblett did come in the cage tonight. There's Arman Tsarukyan, there's Justin Gaethje. Is that the fight that you want more than anything else?
Yes, that's the fight that I want. With Charles, I had a little bit difficult situation because I really like the guy. He's an amazing human being. But at the end, I was like, this is competition. I have to do my job. But with Paddy, I'm really going to enjoy it, kicking his ass.
A matchup that only exists because Ilia couldn't commit to a long-term return timeline. That decision alone has completely changed the division. If Paddy wins the interim belt, the storyline writes itself, Ilia Topuria returning from personal turmoil, stepping back into the cage to face a red-hot, loud, controversial Paddy Pimblett with everything on the line, titles, momentum, reputation, and pride. And make no mistake, Ilia knows this. While he hasn't said it outright, everything about his recent comments suggests he's watching closely.
Mention me to stay relevant, lad, so I don't care.
I was walking into the hotel and I saw him. I threw the bottle to his face. I gave him my proper right hand.
Speak English for the people.
Shut up. You in English, you get the in español.
You little f***ass. Go and sit back down.
He's not ranked. He has just a one fight in the UFC. He's nobody. But I want to fight.
He uses my fame, my publicity, and tries to feed off it because no one cares about his life.
For sure, he needs to win one more fight. If he wins the fight, he can fight for the title. I will give him the opportunity to fight for the title because we have a history behind. So it's going to be a fucking massive.
You're a little
Shut up. If not, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to crash your face right here.
Waiting, letting the division move while he prepares quietly. Fighters like Ilia don't disappear, they reload. The MMA community is split right now. Some believe the divorce drama will mentally drain him, while others think it will fuel him. History shows that fighters returning from personal heartbreak often come back with a different edge, colder, sharper, and more ruthless. And Ilia has always been that kind of fighter. The scary part? He hasn't even started talking yet. No interviews, no podcasts, no long explanations, just controlled silence and subtle hints that his comeback is already being planned. So the real question isn't if Ilia comes back, it's whether the division will be ready when he does.